Every year, someone you know has a New Year's resolution.
Guilty, but not me.
Well, good for them. But we pass.
That's right.
We don't need a resolution. We don't need to change anything.
Why?
Because we kick ass, and we know it.
Yeah.
Why would we change that?
I probably won't change.
This is Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox. Time for new tires? Trust the experts at TireRack.com. They've been crushing it for over 40 years. Go to TireRack.com/sports. Tell them what you drive. Try their easy-to-use tire decision guide. They'll show you the right tires for how, what, and where you drive. They've got the full line of hand-cooked tires, test results, tire ratings, and consumer reviews. Fast free shipping and free road hazard protection. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need, indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign, and we handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. If there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese.
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Somewhere in a dark lab far, far away, two people were created.
Jason, Mike, we are live.
Eventually, these two became best friends.
It's crazy.
Jason Smith.
Yes, I am Jason Smith.
Mike Harmon.
That certainly is the case.
And together, they can't be stopped.
That's the way it should be. Let's go.
It's the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. Weekdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
You shut up.
Here we go.
The Herd.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Colin Cowherd talks about sports.
You have to be a unifier, a lubricator.
Or do sports. Talk about Colin Cowherd.
What does that tell you?
Only Colin knows for sure.
Me.
That's why he has a radio show.
Being great is really important.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
I'm a radio idiot.
Listen every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Why are we blowing up socially?
Why?
It's because of you.
Uh-oh.
You want the videos on our YouTube channel? Just search for Fox Sports Radio.
Yes, I know.
You want to comment on our tweets?
Tweets?
Now I can tweet what I want to.
At Fox Sports Radio. And you want us in your timeline. You need us in your timeline.
Don't forget, you can follow us on social media.
That's why we're blowing up socially on Fox Sports Radio. FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
I like it loud. I'm the man with the box that can rock the crowd. Walking down the street.
Two pros and a cup of Joe, Fox Sports Radio. LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, Jonas Knox with you here on FSR. Coming up top of next hour, somebody in the NFL is speaking out in regards to a situation their team finds themselves in this upcoming weekend. So we'll have that for you here before we get to another edition of Would You Rather. I want to let you know we are brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Let's make history.
And now,
Would you rather?
Would you rather? Your random topics, sports or otherwise.
All right, lead the lap. What do we got?
Let's go, Lee. Guys, it's week 18, so I got to ask. In this scenario, would you rather have a losing season but play spoiler to your biggest rival making the playoffs, or just barely squeak into the wild card round and get blown out?
Barely squeaking and get blown out.
Yeah, I want to be a playoff game.
At least you got a chance.
A little extra money, too.
A little extra money. Yeah, a little extra money.
A little extra money also.
Yeah, a little extra cash.
I want to feel it.
Cachet.
Whoa.
Big time. What else we got, Lee?
Fellas, if you're Jim Harbaugh, would you rather get the highest contract for a head coach in college football or take one of these jobs, whether it's the Colts, the Broncos, the Panthers, and the NFL?
Hold on. Is that college football job going to pay me more than the NFL jobs?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. I'm staying.
I take the money. Yeah.
There's like what? There's not even that.
Is that Michigan?
Are the openings that great in the NFL right now? Like what's out there?
You're saying staying at Michigan?
Correct.
Yeah, Michigan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stay in Michigan.
Absolutely. Stay
see if you can go 3 straight over Ohio State.
Unless you could get the same amount in like California or Florida.
Wait, what?
Or Texas.
I'd say Florida over Texas. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't get the same amount.
Taxes.
You get taxes,
Yeah. That's a good point.
So you get tax breaks in Texas.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Florida and Texas. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What about California,
I'd
Brady?
say California for the weather.
Brady, your thoughts on California's taxes? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I wouldn't know. I
Like
don't
everybody
pay them.
else.
You guys pay them. That's for you guys to figure out.
Not very nice.
Yeah, it is.
It's for you guys to figure out.
I might be moving to where you are.
Hey, come join us. Trust me, there's a big influx.
What else we got, Lee?
Guys, have I given you this one before? Would you rather have the coolest uniforms with a rundown stadium or the most state-of-the-art stadium with the ugliest uniforms?
I want a good stadium.
Can I say this? What team has the ugliest uniforms in the NFL?
Titans.
Okay. Is Cleveland not up there?
Cleveland's up there.
No, but they're tradition. They've been around for so long. Like, I feel like the Titans, there's just, it's kind of boring. I see the Titans like, ugh, come on. And they need a new stadium.
The Browns have the ugliest. And I think Detroit is right up there with them.
Really?
Detroit has some ugly-ass uniforms.
Oh, come on, man. It's not that bad.
Texans logo?
I don't mind Texans.
That's
that little
white
code
blue.
red thing they've got's pretty dope, too.
Yeah. Got anything else, Lee?
Detroit, especially their Thanksgiving ones.
I'd rather have, I think, a rundown stadium and better uniforms.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Not me.
Like Hawaii.
What does the stadium matter? You're only there once a week.
Agreed.
I mean, what if you practice there? What if your facility is there?
That makes it different.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to see no roaches.
Yeah.
The new year isn't the end of the holiday rush for your small business. January means customer emails, returns, and then higher postage costs. Stamps.com teamed up with the post office to get you huge mailing and shipping discounts up to 86% off. It's a new year no-brainer. Instantly find the fastest and cheapest shipping solutions and print USPS and UPS postage right from your computer. Save serious money with Stamps.com this year. Use code 2PROS for a 4-week trial, free postage, and a free digital scale. Stamps.com, code 2PROS.
If you want to experience the unmatched flavor of live fire grilling, then look no further than the Big Green Egg. Forget the pellets, the propane, the knockoffs. Roll with the best. An authentic Big Green Egg grill backed by a free lifetime warranty. Yeah, lifetime. It's that good. Grill, roast, smoke, or bake. It's versatile, easy to light, and simple to use. Shop online for free home delivery at BigGreenEgg.com. That's free home delivery to your door. Let your grilling adventure begin. Visit BigGreenEgg.com.
If your resolutions include more energy, stamina, fire in the bedroom, or losing weight once and for all, listen up. Thousands of proactive patients have met or exceeded these goals with the caring team at Balanced Medical Solutions, the Bay Area's premier vitality clinic dedicated to helping all patients enjoy long, healthy lives full of energy, vigor, and sexual satisfaction. Until the end of the month, mention this station to get an evaluation with comprehensive labs, including hormone tests, for only $69. Call now, 510-679-3300, or visit balancedmedicalsolutions.com.
When you can't stop, there's Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub sends powerful medicated Vicks vapors right to the source of your so you can experience cough relief and breathe easier. Generations of families have trusted Vicks VapoRub to help relieve the worst cold symptoms. So next time you have a cough, reach for the Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub. Cough relieving is believing.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift The Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Ooh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
In 1848, James Marshall discovered gold at Sutter's Mill, and in 3 years, a multicultural migration grew a sleepy trading post of 800 to a city of over 250,000. These were the first dreamers, innovators, builders, and inventors that defined San Francisco. The San Francisco Historical Society exists to uncover, preserve, and present in engaging ways the colorful and diverse history of our city from its earliest days to the present. As a member, you'll receive The Argonaut, an award-winning publication that has provided in-depth historical accounts for over 30 years. And The Panorama, a quarterly newsletter covering ongoing activities and historical presentations. Go to sfhistory.org and discover the San Francisco Historical Society, giving our history a great future. Become a member today.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. An Odyssey station.
Good morning.
It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Oh, yes. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Pregame Show with Joe Spadoni. Disappointing loss last night, to say the least, for the Golden State Warriors as they fall to the Detroit Pistons, 122-119. Sadiq Bey, game winner with a second left. Just a crazy, crazy game. A game in which it was disappointing. I think that is the most accurate word you can use for that loss. If you're a Warriors fan, outside observer, just watching the game. And by the way, to all those driving, just joining us, getting off work, getting ready for school, if you can work remotely, if you can stay home today, please do so. It's going to be ugly again today. Weather's not going to get any better. They're saying Caltrans, what have you, weather people, don't travel until late Thursday night if you can. That's when the winds are going to die down. So please drive safe if you do have to drive. If you are an essential worker, I appreciate you. Shout out to Garbage Men. I just saw picking up some trash outside of our building. Everyone, please be safe. Drive safe. Don't drive stupid. Be defensive when you're driving, and good things will happen more often than not. So please be safe. It is ugly out there, and it was ugly at Chase Center last night for the most part for the Golden State Warriors. Listen, the Detroit Pistons, they stink. All right, they're 11-30 now. They don't win on the road. They're 6-17 now on the road. They're not very good. Okay, they're not. And the Warriors, on that recent winning streak that they've been on, they've beaten some good teams. The Grizzlies, right? The Jazz, Blazers. Those are some good teams. It was impressive. But to drop this one to the Pistons, it's just disappointing. And when you have Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole out there, you should feel pretty good about your chances against a bad team without their best player in Cade Cunningham for the Detroit Pistons. Now, the Jordan Poole turnover problem is a real one at the end of the game. And I know a lot of people are going to look at this loss and this game as, you know what, this would have been gravy. We didn't play well most of the night. We almost stole one, getting into overtime, that Klay Thompson shot. And we're going to hear from Klay Thompson, Steve Kerr, everyone about the game. And by the way, if you want to get involved, it's 888-957-9570. You know the number. It's 888-957-9570. Xfinity mobile text line. I want to hear from you. Your thoughts on this loss. Are you disappointing? I saw around social, saw in some group chats last night. You know what? I'm not mad at that loss. You know what? It's okay. We can't keep pulling rabbits out of our hat or rabbits out of our head if you're Jason Witten. Shout out Monday Night Football. But I just think there was a lot of meat left on that bone if you're the Warriors, and that's a game you need to win against a bad Detroit Pistons team. And again, you have another bad opponent that beaten you early in the year in the Orlando Magic. They're coming in Saturday. Paolo Banchero and co. Paolo and co. Well, it's not bad. But these are teams that are trying to tank for the French phenom, Victor Wembanyama. You should be winning these games. So disappointing to say the least. Again, 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570 if you would like to get involved. Are you disappointed? Are you not that upset about it? Are you upset? I just think it was a bad loss. And I saw way too many people comfortable with it on social last night. I don't mind it. It's like, no. It's the Detroit Pistons. They're not good. They're not a good team. And now they swept you through the season series. 2-0, the Pistons. Wow. Wow, as Tim Roy would say. By the way, we are up and live on YouTube right now. Where's that camera at? Is it there? Am I looking at it? There you go. Hi, YouTube. hit me up there, the YouTube chat if you're on it. And again, the Xfinity mobile text line, 888-957-9570. You can see this beautiful mug every day now at 5 in the morning. This is it right here. Get up at 3:50, shower the night before, so I'm all good. Put a little deodorant on, a little cologne, toss on all the clothes. We're good to go. Brush the teeth, what have you. So hello, YouTube. It's been a long, arduous journey to get here, but I am here, and it's good to see you. Golden State Warriors. 119, the Detroit Pistons 122. And here's how things, towards the end of that game, in the fourth quarter, how it unraveled. And unfortunately, it starts with Jordan Poole once again.
Up and no good. Thompson the rebound. 23 seconds to go. Warriors down 1. And chance to win the game. Poole, far side. Shot clock at 15 to Thompson. Shows the ball to Burks. Back to Poole. Clay will screen. Now gets Stewart as his defender. Poole's going to go. He falls down. Lost the ball. Turnover. Hayes fouled by Looney. That was the foul to give with 6.2 to go in the game.
Very tough. Very tough scene right there. Pistons make their free throws, 119, 116. But again, the Jordan Poole turnover problem is a real one. And Steve Kerr talked about it after the game.
He's also hitting huge shots for us. He had 2 big jumpers down the stretch, and Jordan's made so many big plays for us and helped us win so many games. But what's great is that everything is a learning experience for him at this stage of his career, and he's getting a lot of late game experience. And he made the one mistake, but like I said, he made 2 big shots right before that, and I thought really played well and played hard all game. And I just told the guys how proud I am of them for holding down the fort these last couple of weeks. Tonight was tough, but given the state of our roster, for us to win 5 of these first 6 home games on this stretch and have all these guys fighting and scrapping and clawing night after night, it's been really impressive, and it's put us in a great position, going forward. And we've got reinforcements coming, so it was a tough loss. But like I said, more than anything, I'm just proud of the entire group.
You can be proud of the effort, to Steve Kerr's point. And listen, guys like Anthony Lamb getting that groove back, 17 points for him off the bench. That was impressive. He was a +2, 6-9 shooting, 3 of 5 from the 3-point line. Couple of rebounds, couple of assists. Good to see that. Little show mojo for Anthony Lamb after he was on the Morning Roast a couple days ago. Great interview. If you didn't catch it, go on to the Odyssey app, download favorite 95.7 The Game, and go check it out. Anthony Lamb, very, very good interview, very fun guy. Klay Thompson, that's the big story to me too, other than the loss to the Detroit Pistons. 11 of 23. Yeah, the 3-point shot wasn't there, but he was making some mid-range jumpers. He was driving to the cup. The lanes were open against the Pistons. Dropped 30. And that's good to see. Keep building off this. That's what we were talking about yesterday, right? Klay Thompson, yeah, he'd have these games where, oh man, is that Klay? Is old Klay back? And then he'd have a stinker afterwards. And this is a perfect game to have a stinker in, right? You're on a 5-game winning streak. You're riding high. You're at home. The weather, it was a weird night. It was just weird. The whole weather, everyone was just at home, bundled up. Is my power going to go out? Is it not? I'm very lucky my power did not go out. I was shocked it didn't. Usually it does. But shout out to PG&E and all the guys working Gas and Electric. I know you're working hard. If you're tuning in, thank you for tuning in. If you're on your break, we appreciate you. It's a tough job out there. So all the essential workers that are doing their jobs, helping people out, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. And be safe out there. But Klay Thompson, he's starting to get his groove back. Is he ever going to be the old Klay Thompson, or is he going to be, consistent every single night with that 3-point shot? I don't think so. And that's unfair to ask of him after 2 major surgeries and major injuries, an ACL and Achilles. But he's finding that stroke, and Klay hitting these clutch shots again, that's huge. That's huge.
All right. I guess they have some magic dust left, don't they? We'll see. They have to close this out. Now Hayes will throw it in with Stewart, Bogdanovich, Sadiq Bey, who's being guarded by Jerome. If I'm him, I'd dive to the bottom.
Sorry, Tim, not to cut you off. Rookie mistake there for the YouTube audience that's listening, right, for the first time pregame show. Rookie mistake on the pregame show, playing the Sadiq Bey game winner instead of my perfectly layup Klay highlight. So here you go. Klay Thompson. What are you going to do in the last couple seconds?
Looney up top. Klay comes back. They throw it for Lamb on the right side. To Klay, who relocates for a three-look. He got it with 1 second to go. What a play. Steve Kerr and his staff drew up an unbelievable play there. Klay Thompson got a wide-open look. We're tied with 1 second to go. Tied at 119. The game is not over. Detroit calls their final timeout.
The game was not over, but that was a hell of a shot from Klay Thompson. You thought, man, can the Warriors get another one in overtime? Can they sneak another one out in a game where they probably shouldn't have won? Can they do that? And it looked like it. It looked like I stepped away from my TV for a second because I had to put down the little one. Young Benjamin was following along on my phone, but we like to listen to music when we go to sleep, so I had to turn that off, put a little Spotify on. So we were listening to music, and then I come out, I was like, 1 second left. Oh, this is going to overtime. I think the Warriors got this in the bag. Check back and open up my phone. What? I was ready to watch some overtime. And then this happened.
All right. I guess they have some magic dust left, don't they?
We'll see. They have to close this out. Now Hayes will throw it in with Stewart, Bogdanovich, Sadiq Bey, who's being guarded by Jerome. If I'm him, I'd dive to the box. And that's where he's going to look like he's going to go that way. Hayes waiting, trying to throw it in, gets it into Bey, turns and fires. It's up, it's good! He hit it at the buzzer. A three-point shot falling backwards, went up and in. The Pistons mob him as they head to the locker room, and Detroit has won. My goodness.
My goodness, indeed. Hell of a call from Tim Roy there. And I always give credit to announcers and broadcasters who clearly they cover their home team. So the excitement's always there for the home team shots. You heard it with the Klay Thompson. But to capture that moment, and it was a huge shot for Sadiq Bey, probably the biggest shot of his career, if you're going to be honest, right? Young player going up against the defending champs, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Hall of Famers. These guys know what it's all about. And to do what he did, that was impressive. And a hell of a call from Tim Roy to capture that moment, the intensity there for Sadiq Bey. And yes, at the expense of the Golden State Warriors. But, again, the Detroit Pistons, in all due respect, as I just cast him up, great shot, Sadiq Bey, biggest of your life. Warriors, you can't lose that game to that team. You can't. You just can't. They're bad. They've been a perpetual cellar dweller in the East for God knows how long now. They're not good. They're tanking for Victor Wembanyama. They're going to be sellers. One of the, seems like 5 teams that are only selling right now. Howard Beck was on the Morning Roast yesterday saying, listen, it's a weird time for the trade deadline because there's so many teams that are in it and think that they're in it. And there's only a handful that know they're not. And the Detroit Pistons are one of those handful of teams. Them, the Magic, who the Warriors will be facing on Saturday, right? Even the Thunder, hell, they're alive. Rockets, they're another one. They stink. But again, these teams that the Warriors have been playing all year, it's just disappointing. Absolutely disappointing. Jason from the YouTube chat hitting me up. Shout out, Jason. Shout out you guys on YouTube. Ernie, Jason, I see you. It's a long season. Warriors will be Warriors. Oh, you're a Blazers fan. What are you hitting me up for, Jason? Just kidding. We accept all fan bases here on the pregame show, unless you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, to which case I say, hit the pike. That was a good style. I'll give myself a 4 for that, Steiny, by the way. 408, Xfinity Mobile text line. My 7th month old is named Benjamin. Hey, shout out. 408. Benjamin's a great name. Strong. Our young Benjamin. Starting basketball camp next Wednesday. I was talking to Jade, the missus. Like, how long is this thing? I was like, it can't be more than an hour. It's 3 to 5 years old. These kids aren't going to have the attention span. She's like, no, it's 45 minutes. I was like, thank God. I'm excited to watch him. I was like, he might lose interest in the first 30 minutes. So excited for young Benjamin and start basketball camp next week. From the 925, Xfinity Mobile text line, we have to stop with the whole excuse of 2 knee surgeries. Klay had the best surgeon in the world along with the best rehabilitation in the world. It's a legitimate excuse, 925. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. An Achilles injury and an ACL, you don't just become the same player after that. Couple that with age and just getting older, your body and your abilities are not going to be the same. It's just not happening. It's not realistic. And it's not fair to Klay Thompson. And I'm not using it as an excuse. I'm using it as part of his narrative, who he is as a player now. That's who he is. Those injuries, that's a part of his career. That's a part of his legacy. That time off, him coming all the way back, him having that FU tour in the finals and the playoffs last season, that's all part of it. This is part of his process and part of his journey and him becoming a new type of player. He's never going to be the same Klay Thompson, but if he can be doing what he's been doing during this winning streak at home, I don't think you need anything more. It's been very impressive. The clutch shots coming back, the decisiveness, the buying into the young teammates, your new teammates, the trust that's being built, that's huge. It's absolutely huge. And again, disappointing loss. Shouldn't have lost to the Detroit Pistons. Can't happen. But the silver lining again, Klay Thompson, just absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. Shooting after his 50 plus 54 points. Double OT. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. The other bad storyline, we've been talking about it, we've been discussing it, is the Jordan Poole turnovers. And on one end of the spectrum and one end of the stick, you can look at, listen, he's trying to make a winning play. To Steve Kerr's point after the game, he made some big shots down the stretch to keep them in the game, give him a chance to win it, give him a chance to tie it. But it finally reared its ugly head because in the last couple of games, he's had his veterans, Kevon, Klay, Draymond, able to pick up the slack where he left off. And he thought he got off the hook again with Klay Thompson hitting that three. He thought he got off the hook again, but you know what? Sometimes the magic runs out a little bit, and it did last night at Chase Center, and Sadiq Bey hits it with the second left. Hell of a shot, tip your cap, move on. But you can't keep doing this consistently, especially when Steph comes back, and maybe that's what it's all about. Stephen Curry coming back quells some of that. But if you're looking to the future and you're looking at Jordan Poole and you're worried about this guy in late game situations, is he going to turn the ball over? It's worrisome. It's absolutely worrisome. So again, don't mean to harp on the guy too much because he's been playing well for the most part. It's these late game crucial situations that just have to be rectified. And I know he's a young player. Stephen Curry, I saw Matt Steinmetz tweet this of Steiny and Guru. Check them out every day. 12 to 3. Find him on the Odyssey app. Download it. Favorite 95.7 The Game. Follow along Steiny and Goo. Steiny is like, listen, Stephen Curry still to this day, is careless with the ball at times. But again, I know you're going to respond, well, he's Steph Curry. He's got 4 rings. Unanimous MVP. Finals MVP. You can do that. Yeah, but early on in his career, he was not that Steph. And he made mistakes as well. So yes, I'm not going to be too hard on the kid. It's just a pattern right now that's concerning, and I'm going to hope it's going to be rectified before the playoffs start. I know that because there may be a situation here or there that they need Jordan Poole. They need his shot-creating ability late in the game. Maybe someone fouled out. Maybe someone got ejected, a la Draymond Green last night. We'll get into that. But it's a problem, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's an absolute problem. 925 Xfinity Mobile text line. It's safe to say that Klay Thompson is a declining player based off his age and history. Yes, that's all I was trying to say. But everyone's declining as they get older. That's just life in general. And his play on the court, while it's not going to be his prime 25-year-old Klay Thompson, it's starting to be reminiscent of it at least. And if we can just get a glimpse of that every single night in stretches, I don't think you can ask for more, especially heading into the playoffs. What's most impressive with Klay Thompson, to me, is his ability to buy in, but also his ability to help out those other guys now. That was the problem. He kept shooting. And my God, it was like Clay. And that was the conversations we had. And yeah, I'm sure you guys heard the apology from Joe Shasky yesterday on the Morning Roast. That's their new segment, the Say I'm Sorry segment. And he was apologizing to Klay Thompson because Klay has obviously been playing well this recent stretch. There were talks about early in the season, should he come off the bench? Is he the same player? Those were all fair points to Joe's credit. It was a legit conversation. It was a legit thing. Klay was struggling. He kept shooting and it wasn't working. Guys were blowing by him. It wasn't working. That lateral quickness that guys like Dr. Nirav Pandya, shout out Cleared to Play, our 95.7 The Game injury insider and UCSF health doctor, that's the lateral quickness that's going to come and that he needs to work on. And it's coming right now. You can see him playing well on defense. Is he ever going to have that same quickness? Is he ever going to be the top defender that he was? No. Again, goes back to the surgeries and just getting older. The defense, that's more noticeable. But the offense, if you can just give me that offensive production every single night with a couple of key possessions on defense, what more can you ask for? What more can you ask for? You know? 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, Xfinity Mobile text line, YouTube, shout out. Steve Kerr, he was talking about the Detroit Pistons and Saddiq Bey's performance after the game, and here's what he had to say.
It was a tough way to lose. It looked like we had covered the play pretty well, and then I'll have to get another look at it. But Saddiq freed himself up there at the last second. Felt like it was almost a 5-second violation, and then he hit one of those shots that usually isn't going to go in. But I also feel like the game rewards the team that maybe plays harder. And I thought our fatigue was a factor, and I thought Detroit played great. They played really hard all game. They were physical. They were all over the glass, made big shots. Bogdanovich hit the big 3 with 2 seconds on the shot clock when they had the out of bounds under. They hit big shots, and I thought they deserved to win. They were fantastic tonight.
Absolutely deserved to win. That was the quote right there. The Detroit Pistons played their asses off. They played like a team, you know what? We can win. We're going to win. And we deserve to win. And the better team won last night. That's just a fact. The better team won last night. Now, on the grand scheme of things, obviously, the Warriors are that better team when it heads into the playoffs. But the team that deserved to win last night was the Detroit Pistons. And that's just disappointing. Heading into that game and the high that we were all on, the Warriors have yet to be 3 games above 500 this season. It just seems to be, and I hope this isn't the case, 1 step forward, 2 steps back with this team. Easy enough for me to say. But it just seems to be just something's always sprouting up, right? Something's always happening. What's the song that Guru likes to always reference? Is it Something's Happening? Buffalo, Springfield, whatever the case. You need to stop using that one, Gil. Jason from the YouTube chat hit us up, by the way. I'm on YouTube. Hello. Jason. Spadoni looks like he needs some more coffee. I do need some coffee, but that's also just my face, Jason. I'm sorry. I got these dark circles under my eyes. They've been genetic ever since I was a kid. Inherited from my mom's side of the family. So every time I would get up early or something like that, they just looked really bad. And I was like, oh, God, you look like you didn't get any sleep. So I was like, actually, I slept pretty great. But thanks for saying I'm ugly. I would get into freshman class, and my brother, who smoked a bunch of cigarettes as a senior, he'd drive me to school. He was a senior, I was a freshman. So I'd reek of cigarettes. I'd have these dark circles under my eyes. I'd sit in the front row or sit in the back row of the class walking in late. People with me like, that kid's Spadoni. Looks like he's got a rough life. Joe, you all right? Yeah, I slept great. What's the problem? Just got a cigarette hole in your jacket and you reek and look like you've been punched in the face. Well, thanks. Thanks. Glad to start off my Monday morning with that. All love, Jason. All love. I get it. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Warriors, they fall to the Detroit Pistons 122-119. They are now 17-3 at home. They are 20-19 on the season. Have yet to be 3 games over 500 on the season. Their next game, they will be taking on the Orlando Magic this Saturday, 5:30. That'll be a fun little game, a little Saturday matinee. They're a little, that's perfect. I think we got Raiders Chiefs, 1:30. And then who else is that Saturday game? Let me know. NFL schedule. Jags Titans. That's for the division. So that's a fun little night there. That's a 2-screen Saturday night. We got Warriors Magic, Jags Titans, Raiders Chiefs. That'll be fun. And speaking of the NFL, we're still monitoring the Damar Hamlin situation. He did show some signs of improvement yesterday, reportedly, so that is great to see. Hopefully he continues to improve every single day. Our thoughts, prayers still with Damar, his family, his friends, the team, all that, all love. So we will continue to monitor that situation, and any news, again, that trickles down, we will relay that to you right here on 95.7 The Game. And speaking of the NFL, Nick Bosa. You know Nick, DPOY frontrunner, all-pro, beast, Bosa. He joined the morning... Check that. He did not join the morning roast. That was Sean Purdy, who also had a great interview, by the way. Sean Purdy, Brock Purdy's dad, joined the morning roast yesterday. He joined Damon and Ratto yesterday, and he had some very interesting thoughts on the game in Vegas, him potentially winning the DPOY, and some interesting thoughts on some of his teammates. And let's just say Nick Bosa is one of the funnier interviews I've ever heard here on 95.7 The Game. Just a very serious, but also it's just the voice, right? It's one of the Mount Rushmore of voices that don't match the physical nature of the guy. Like Dave Stewart's another one for me, the guy with the high-pitched voice, Dave. And that stare, that intensity on the mound. Mike Tyson obviously is on there as well. So yeah, who's on the Mount Rushmore for you for athletes whose voices don't match their bodies? Let me know that. We're going to hear more from Nick Bosa on the other side. This is the pregame show. If you would like to get involved, it's 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, Xfinity mobile text line. We are live on YouTube. Hit me up. Look at this beautiful mug, as Jason says, that needs coffee. Join the conversation. We love to have you. We got one more segment coming up here before we get into a little crosstalk with Shasky before the top of the hour, handing it to the morning roast. Those guys are fired up. Once again, the Detroit Pistons, they take down the Golden State Warriors 122-119 at Chase Center. And we're going to discuss more of that, plus some Nick Bosa sound on the other side. This is the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Stock up and save big now, store-wide at the Lowe's Truckload event. For a limited time, save up to 50% on select tools and accessories from the brands you trust. And buy a DeWalt 12-inch dual-bevel miter saw and get an adjustable stand for free. Plus, get deals on appliances, bath, and more. Head to your local Lowe's or visit Lowe's.com to shop the Truckload event today. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Valid 12/29 through 1/11.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Norman, we need to pause this surgery.
What, doctor?
Well, we need to hurry to the Xfinity Hello 2023 sale. New Xfinity customers can get 75 megabit internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. Plus, when you add 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile, you get $500 back for a limited time.
Drop everything. Get to the Xfinity Hello 2023 sale now through January 10th. Go to Xfinity.com/Hello2023 to learn more. Restrictions apply. Internet offer requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After term, regular rates apply. Xfinity Internet required for Xfinity Mobile.
From the beginning, West Credit Union was created to provide a brighter financial future for you. We work hard for our members because they're our greatest strength.
West worked for me when I needed an auto loan for my first car.
When I need to make a mobile payment, West works for me.
Put our premier savings account to work for you, now paying up to 25 times the national average. West Credit Union, working for you today, tomorrow, together.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Make the switch to green soaps and personal products and green cleaning products for the sink and shower. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about that sound? You're listening to a set of GE appliances, complete with all you need to keep food fresh, dishes clean, and everything else stress-free. Making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Get up to 25% off select GE appliances right now. Offer valid January 5th through January 25th, 2023. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
A little Green Day on Thursday morning here on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for just joining us. Been talking Warriors who fell to the Detroit Pistons last night at Chase Center, 122-119. Saddiq Bey game-winning 3. Klay Thompson, he had the game tying 3, and it looks like he was about to force overtime, but there was still a second left. Second, what is it, 3/10 now? 4/10 of a second you have to have for it to have a legitimate shot. And Saddiq Bey's was good from a mile, I thought. It was just watching it live, it was good. And it was. So 122-119 Detroit Pistons. They take down the Golden State Warriors. And if you would like to get involved in the conversation, as always, it's 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, Xfinity mobile text line. YouTube, we are up. We are live for the first time ever on the pregame show with Joe Spadoni. So you can look at this beautiful mug every single day, this schnoz. And Timothy Brown chiming in on the checks. Easy enough for me to say. Don't worry, Spadoni. I have some mean dark circles too since I work overnight. Thanks, Timothy. These ones just don't go away, though. So it's not that I'm tired. Don't worry, everyone. I'm actually not. I feel great now. I don't need coffee or anything. It just, it's just my face. It's just not going to go away, unfortunately. Get all the cream remedies you want. It's not going away. It's just my beautiful face, I guess. We're talking before the break last break. Nick Bosa, we were teasing some sound. He joined Damon Ratto yesterday. Nick Bosa, defensive end extraordinaire for the San Francisco 49ers. Probably going to be the defensive player of the year. And just listening to his voice in that interview, and it was a great interview. If you missed it, download the Odyssey app, favorite 95.7 The Game. Go there. You can see all those interviews. I got every single one. We had some hell of an interview yesterday on the Morning Roast, Shasky and Bonte with Sean Purdy. That was fun. He had an awful lot to say about his son and his journey and how they've gotten here. It was very, very cool to hear the sincerity in his voice's dad and how proud he was of his son. So that was very cool. And Nick Bosa yesterday, and that voice, and from the 408 Xfinity mobile text line, Tim Duncan's voice doesn't match. That's a good one. Very light. I feel like it matches his face a little bit, though. And we're talking voices, for those of you who don't know, voices that don't match an athlete's body. Like Mike Tyson famously, right? Mike Tyson. Guy that sounds like that, but he is built like a brick house. Nick Bosa, the same way, man. No. All I need is a nice buzz, cool waves, and I'm good. That was a terrible Spicoli reference, but you get my point. Well, he joined Damon and Ratto yesterday, and he was asked about what winning the DPOY would mean to him. And here's what he had to say.
It's definitely a goal since you're a little kid. Whenever you start playing defense, you look at guys who have come through and won that award. And I think the number one goal when you play for an organization like this is obviously a Super Bowl, but that would be some icing on the cake for sure.
Absolutely. The ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl, but hey, getting that on your resume, DPOY, what that means for your legacy. He's already on a future Hall of Fame path as it is. Be massive. Be massive. And coupling that with that DPOY, here's what Bosa had to say about the areas that he's improved this season.
Just kind of all around, definitely getting off the ball better. I think I'm moving quicker. My strength is up, so my power rushes are more effective. And then just the more you play, the more answers you find for certain offensive linemen and certain sets and punches and grabs and all the things that you see that O-linemen try to do to slow you down. So the more you play, just the more reps, you can't help but get better.
Absolutely. Hard work pays off. You have to have hard work plus talent, and then that usually equals greatness. And for that Bosa family, that's what that is. Him, his brother Joey, who's back. The Chargers team's sneaky, by the way. If they have to play I'll say this real quick, just a side note on the NFL playoffs. We don't know what's going on with all the seeding after the Damar Hamlin cardiac arrest situation. He's still in the hospital. So everything's going on as planned this weekend, it looks like, for all those other games. We don't know what's going to go on with that Bills-Bengals game, whether it will be resumed. We'll get all that news, we'll let you know. But as the playoffs start shaking down here, the Chargers, the Bosas, do we have a Chargers-Niners Super Bowl? Would that be the craziest thing? Right? I mean, from the last decade, those are two perpetual choking teams in the big games. But someone's got to win it. And the last time the 49ers won that Super Bowl, you know who it was against? The San Diego Superchargers. Well, they're now the Los Angeles Chargers, but Justin Herbert, I think this team is a lot better than whatever that 94-95 team was. Don't even know who was the quarterback on that Chargers team in the 90s. Let me know at 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Shout out YouTube. Let me know. Who's that? The quarterback of that Chargers team that lost to the Niners in that Super Bowl when they got demolished. I couldn't even name them. I don't know if I can name anyone on that Chargers team. Was Rodney Harrison on that team? Junior Seau, were they on that team? Is that it? Let me know. But I digress. Back to Nick Bosa and talking about how valuable that win in Vegas was for the San Francisco 49ers.
In this league, it's never going to be the same each week. You're going to have to find multiple ways to win. And as a defense, we always hold ourselves to the standard of being the reason we win. But when you have an offense that could go and win it and win shootouts and do the things that some of these top offenses throughout the league can do, and then you hone in on what you could do on defense, and that combination is what I think could take us where we need to go.
That's it right there. If they could just have that offensive performance that they had in Vegas and couple that with just one of their better defensive games, it was a slip up, but you have to give the Raiders credit too. They have one of the best offensive units as far as talent in the league with Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, Foster Moreau. Mac Hollins even is having a hell of a season. Career year for him. So, listen, give them credit. Jarrett Stidham, I don't know if he's the future there in Vegas. He had a hell of a game. See what he does this Saturday against the Chiefs at home. But give them credit. And you're going to be facing some beasts in the playoffs. But in the NFC, other than maybe the Eagles with A.J. Brown, I don't think you're seeing a collection of offensive talent quite like what the Raiders have. Oh, thank you, 650-415. All you guys saved me. Oh, everyone. Stan Humphries. Couldn't tell you. Was 2 years old, 1 year old when that Super Bowl happened. There you go. Stan Humphries. He's not Justin Herbert. I know that. So, again, we were just alluding to maybe a little Chargers-Niners Super Bowl. A long way to go. Might be a little interesting. Maybe Niners-Bengals. Little Super Bowl rematches in the past. I know there's one team the Niners don't want to face, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm just trying to find some ways to see where the Chiefs slip up. And I think a second-round matchup potentially will be there first because they have a bye, but if they have the bye. And they get it with a win against the Raiders this week. Sneaky big game in Vegas, but if the Chargers were to win this week, I think they were playing the AFC South winner, and they stink, whoever it is, Titans or Jags. Jags, I shouldn't say stink. They've had a good year. For them, for the Jags, what they went through last year, that turmoil with Urban Meyer, Doug Peterson coming in there, riding the ship. That wouldn't be easy. And the Jags whooped the Chargers earlier this season, so I'm not sleeping on them at all. And the Chargers have been known to choke, and Brandon Staley specifically. But if they were to win that matchup, and they would be able to face the Chiefs in that second round there, I like the Chargers' chances in there. They play tight against Kansas City. Justin Herbert, he always gets up for division games. Chiefs losing to the Chargers, you're rooting for that. But again, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Got a long way to go. Brock Purdy, what's he going to do? We have no idea. Nerves, can they get to him? The big stage, you never know. Total hypotheticals, but that's what we do here on the pregame show, right? With Joe Spadoni. It's hypotheticals. Sports Talk Radio. That's what we're supposed to do. And shout out to YouTube. Shout out to the Xfinity Mobile text line. Thank you all guys for all the Stam Humphreys. A lot of you guys know about that Chargers team in the 90s. Junior say I was. See? There's my knowledge. Sean Jefferson was one of the wide receivers from the 510. Van Jefferson's father. The more you know. How about that? The more I know about the Golden State Warriors and their 119-122 loss, the more upset I am. You like that little segue? That was a bad loss. I'm just going to say it. The Detroit Pistons stink. A lot of people were saying last night, I saw on social, I'm not mad at the loss. I was like, no. The Detroit Pistons stink. They're not a good team. They're one of the few teams that are actually trying to trade. Like, they're one of 4 or 5 teams that are trying to do that. Again, Howard Beck, he joined the Morning Roast yesterday. Great interview. It's all there, Odyssey app, 957thegame.com. Check all that out. He was like, there's 4 or 5 teams that are actually going to probably trade. Everyone else thinks they're going to be in it, and they may be trying to acquire. They're going to just stay the course. The Detroit Pistons are one of those 5 teams. So they're not good. They don't have their best player in Cade Cunningham. Warriors are on a 5-game home winning streak. You dominate at home. I don't care that Steph Curry's out. I don't care that Andrew Wiggins is out. It's a game you got to win. And looked like they were lackadaisical on offense. Again, the Jordan Poole turnover at the end there. Just the Draymond Green ejection. A lot of boneheaded mistakes against a bad team. It's going to get you beat. And it got you beat last night as they fell 122-119 against the Detroit Pistons. And we're going to hear what Joe Shasky's thoughts on that. You know Joe, co-host of the Morning Roast. Him and Bonte getting ready. They're going to be on in about, 20 minutes or so. So Joe's going to join me for a little crosstalk on the other side. Get his thoughts on that. Nick Bosa, who joined Damon and Rado yesterday. 49ers, they're taking on the Cardinals this week. Cardinals, no Hopkins. They're going to start David Blau at quarterback. They're done. Stick a fork in them. They're just not good. No Kyler Murray. Cliff Kingsbury, I think he's going to be out. Steve Keim, the GM. They might all clean house. Who knows? But that's a game the 49ers should, and I believe will win this Sunday. We'll get more into that game tomorrow as well. But let me know your thoughts at 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, YouTube, all that. Xfinity Mobile text line. Are you okay with that loss to the Detroit Pistons last night? I'm seeing a lot of people saying I'm not mad at the loss. Just thought it was disappointing against a bad team. Let me know, 888-957-9570. Come on back. This is a pregame show with Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Are you ready to boost your game at work, explode with energy at the gym, and really hit one out of the park in the bedroom? Balanced Medical Solutions has your back with the best solutions for ED, PE, weight gain, and chronic fatigue. Join thousands of Bay Area men who have said goodbye to low testosterone, low energy, and low libido who now feel like world champs. Mention this station until the end of the month to get a medical evaluation with labs, including hormone tests, for only $69. Call today and get a win. 510-679-3300 or visit balancedmedicalsolutions.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
If you are 65 or older, you know this. Watching your hard-earned dollars fly out the window on healthcare costs is so frustrating, but here's some great news. If you missed the December 7th deadline for open enrollment, it's not too late. Here's something that can really help. It's MediShare 65 Plus. MediShare is a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills. It's people who encourage and pray for each other too. MediShare 65 Plus is a low-cost option for those with Medicare Parts A and B, and it fills in the gaps where Medicare stops. It's a great way to fight inflation, too. You can lock in one low monthly price for up to 10 years. Plus, it's easy. You can use any Medicare-approved doctor or get 24/7 telehealth access from the comfort of your home. So worth looking into. MediShare 65 Plus is open for enrollment, and if you join right now before January 31st, your second month will be free. So don't miss this chance. Call 844-SHARE-65. That's 844-SHARE-65. 844-SHARE-65.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
Hold on. So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code GOLF for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code GOLF. Use code GOLF for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Make the switch to green soaps and personal products, and green cleaning products for the sink and shower. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
In 1848, James Marshall discovered gold at Sutter's Mill. And in 3 years, a multicultural migration grew a sleepy trading post of 800 to a city of over 250,000. These were the first dreamers, innovators, builders, and inventors that defined San Francisco. The San Francisco Historical Society exists to uncover, preserve, and present in engaging ways the colorful and diverse history of our city from its earliest days to the present. As a member, you'll receive the Argonaut, an award-winning publication that has provided in-depth historical accounts for over 30 years. And the Panorama, a quarterly newsletter covering ongoing activities and historical presentations. Go to sfhistory.org and discover the San Francisco Historical Society, giving our history a great future. Become a member today.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pregame show, 95.7 The Game with Joe Spadoni. One more segment here for you before tossing it over to Bonte and Jasky for the morning roast. They're fired up. Disappointing loss last night for the Golden State Warriors as they fell 122-119 against the Detroit Pistons. Sadiq Bey, game-winning shot with the second left. The Detroit Pistons deserved that victory last night. They were the better team all night. They deserved it. We thought maybe the Warriors can pull another one out of their ass. Another magic. Is it going to happen? Klay Thompson. He's looking like old Klay. It's great to see. But unfortunately, wasn't meant to be as the Warriors fell. And they are now 17-3 at home. But, we're looking at social media. They're not mad at the loss. Are you mad at the loss? Are you upset? I just thought it was against a bad team. You need to beat them. You need to beat the Pistons, and you damn sure better beat the Orlando Magic on Saturday. They're not a good team either, and they handled you guys early in the season. Paolo Banchero, the Paisan. So let me know, 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. YouTube is up. Hi. Hello. Need to get used to that camera, wherever it is. Chat's on fire already. Shout out Brother Samp. Brother Samp, Palma legend? Can't be him. Shout out Palma High School in Salinas. Shout out everyone going back to school. Be safe out there, by the way. It's wet. It's windy. Be safe. Looks like it's calmed down a little bit here in the city in Oakland last night, but I know a lot of people are dealing with lots, not just where we are in the Bay, but Northern California in general. So please, everyone be safe. Shout out to all the essential workers out there doing your jobs, having to work in this mess. We appreciate you. And again, drive safe, drive defensive. If you can work from home, do that. Keep the kids home, do that. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Nick Bosa. We were playing some of that sound for you. He joined Damon and Rado yesterday. And Nick, he's just such an interesting guy, right? Normally when pass rushers to me are a little bit like closers in a way. You have to be a little crazy to be a closer in baseball. There's something that has to be off with you. You've heard it from many a baseball player, and hell, just do interviews. We saw crazy ones here in the Bay, Brian Wilson, Grant Balfour, Sean Doolittle, what have you. Camilo Duval now. There's just always something a little bit, be a little off if you're a closer. Sergio Romo, Santiago Casilla, right? Something's just got to be a little off. Liam Hendricks, all those guys. Just keep going on. But Nick Bosa, I think pass rushers are a little bit like that too. And Nick Bosa, it's just, it's very odd when I'm listening to him. I was like, how is this guy, this calm, cool, collected Nick? You see him post-game wearing the little backpacks and stuff like that. Like, how is this guy just tearing up people on the field? Well, he does. Turns into a different person on the field, it looks like. And he talked about, with Damon and Rado yesterday, asking his brother for tips.
We talk about it a lot in the off season when we're training, but whenever I face, like this year, we played the AFC West. Obviously, Joey has some experience with those guys, so I would shoot him a text in the beginning of that week, and we'd talk FaceTime usually at least once a week. So we'd talk about it, but tips are only going to get you so far in this league. You got to go out and do it, and playing the edge position is there's a lot of nuance to it, but when it comes down to it, you just got to go dominate somebody, and that's the main focus I try to get my mind on when I run out there.
Absolutely. Tips can only do so much, and tips didn't really help, I'm sure, this past week, because I'm sure Joey was talking about Derek Carr starting potentially, and it was Jarrett Stidham, who looked far better than Derek Carr did at any point in this season for the Raiders, so I'm sure that was a surprise, and he talked about it after the game that they took him a little lightly, and he made him pay. So shout out Jarrett Stidham for doing that. It was a good learning experience, I think, for the 49ers, and it's a good have a learning experience in a win rather than a loss, which is what they did on Sunday in Las Vegas in overtime. And obviously the big story of this past week was the DeMar Hamlin cardiac arrest that he suffered on the field on Monday Night Football in Cincinnati. He is showing signs of improvement, and any latest of that information, obviously we'll relay that to you here on 95.7 The Game whenever that happens. But Bosa was asked about it yesterday, and here's what he had to say.
I was watching tape, and it was kind of just on in the background. Then I realized how severe it was, and I know Joe Burrow and Sam, who play for the Bengals, so I talked to them a little bit after. But yeah, it's just awful scenario that we really haven't seen in the league yeah, I'm just hoping it goes as good as it can for his family and everybody involved.
Absolutely. Well said there from Nick. As Damar Hamlin, again, showing signs of improvement. I think I saw it from Schefter about an hour ago. He said that Damar Hamlin's father did like a Zoom call with the whole team and said he's showing signs of improvement, and he wanted to make the effort and talk to the team because he knows they've been struggling emotionally with what's going on. And you know what? Good on that. Damar Hamlin's father did not need to do that. He absolutely did not, but he did it. That's a huge thing. And hoping best for his family. And as we segue out of that, we got Joe the Butcher Boy Shasky here.
Well, do we have to segue out of that? Can I
no,
talk to you about that for a second?
No, you can't. Please.
Were you listening to Steiny and Willard argue about that yesterday?
Very intense. It was very
not that part.
Yeah. But it was like a legit conversation. So, like how do we move on? Do the players want to move on? That sort of thing.
I kind of side with Steiny on this one in the sense that, like, you know, there's these clauses in certain contracts called act of God clauses where something happens and it null and voids the entire contract because of an act of God, a hurricane, an earthquake. Now, and even then, there's certain insurances that will cover those types of things. In this circumstance, and I heard everyone complaining about, Baltimore, winning the AFC North. You've had 15 games to get to this point. All right. Sometimes life is bigger than the schedule or, you know, what's fair. Like, life's unfair.
It's 16 games like 2 years ago or whatever it was, right? This was the season. The season would be over now.
Exactly.
For most of for the past 30 years, whatever.
Did you know what happened in 1987?
No.
It was a 14-game regular season.
There you go.
A strike shortened season.
Yeah.
You know what happened in 1982?
No.
Same thing. Strike shortened season.
There you go.
Okay? Like, so my point being is, like,
-9 years old. So
what happened with LeBron's first championship? Locked out, shortened season. Okay, things happen.
I forgot about that. Wow.
Things happen, and you can say, it's unfair, the ballots and all that. Dude, really? Yeah. Like, we're really going to squeeze this one little game in to appease Baltimore? Baltimore, sorry, you got the short end of the stick. It stinks, but you had 15 games to try to knock this team off, the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah. Like, I'm with Steiny on this one. I know people don't want to hear this. And
don't blow a 35-13 lead against the Miami Dolphins in week 2.
We could do this. We do this for every team all year. You know what was unfair? When the 49ers went down to New Orleans and had a horrible penalty against Drew Brees on a face mask and didn't get home field advantage and had to go on the road for 3 weeks. Yeah. This happens in sports. Yes. Now, I get it. It's a little different. It's going to have a trickle-down effect and all that. But, like, at the end of the day, and this is the cold, hard truth is, the show will go on. We all know this as football fans. Like, and that's, it pains me to say that out loud, but you have to acknowledge the truth and the reality of the situation. And so to think that they're going to, like, add an extra week, I don't think they should, and I don't think they will.
No, and it's a good point. I mean, and in every workplace, obviously, there's a time and place for everything, but the show does go on. Like, it just happens. It sounds horrible.
I feel cold saying it, but it is the reality, right?
Like, that's just how it is. Like, and maybe it's a horrible analogy, but if, let's say, like, one of the hosts here, if that happened, like, we still have to go on air the next day. Like, when we have to talk and we have to do that, maybe not the next day, but, you know, like, you have to get back. And that's life, though.
Joe, have you lost anybody close to you?
Yes.
I have too. And you know, when my wife lost her brother, it was horrible. I'm being, like, opening here. It was horrible. And I realized, like, everyone grieves in different ways. Yes. That's number one. And number two is, everything kept moving, like, around us. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything around us kept moving, and we had to do everything we could to pick the pieces up and keep moving. Now, thank God, this man's still alive at this point, and I don't want to be cold.
Showing
and
signs of
heartless.
improvement. Yes,
it's great. And again, but like, to think that we're going to retroactively change everything, I don't know, man. I don't think they are.
No, it's a good point. And quickly, I do want to get your thoughts here as we wrap up.
That didn't sound heartless.
No, absolutely not. No,
I'm trying to say it with the most empathy as I possibly can.
But it's a real thing. Like,
yes,
tragedies happen, and we looked like we may narrowly have avoided one. We don't know yet. We'll relay any information we have, but life goes on, and unfortunately, football is going to go on, and jobs go on, and that's what's going to happen this weekend. As the NFL is going to have all this starting Saturday. I mean, the Raiders of Vegas are going to start, and I'm sure they're going to have, you know, moments for, I don't even know if not a moment of silence yet, but I'm sure they'll have graphics all up all weekend talking about this. That'll be the main story. Real quick, Shasky, before we end this, that loss last night at Chase Center, like, the Detroit Pistons, dude, no Cade Cunningham, and I get it. They have Killian Hayes, Sadiq Bey. They have some young guys. That's fun. And hell, they may get Victor Wembanyama, and they may be a force to be reckoned with years from now. But they stink, dude. They're like one of the, like, Howard Beck joined you guys yesterday. He's like, there's 4 or 5 teams that are actively trying to trade, and everyone else is like, hey, we might make the playoffs. The Detroit Pistons are one of those 4 and 5 teams who are not good.
There's going to be a lot of outrage. Quite honestly, and this, being candid, it was like I was watching the game and I was tapped in. My electricity.
It was a weird night. It was because of the storms.
Yes.
It was weird.
I was distracted viewing it.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that I wasn't. I was watching, but like my mind was in a lot of different places. I got an emergency call at 6:00, and anybody out there that's had this, my heart goes out to you. I hope you're safe. I hope you can get to safety. I got an emergency call because of the cabin. And it's telling everybody to evacuate up in Guerneville, up in Monterey, Russian River area, Cazadero, Forestville. Yeah. So, like, I was really distracted last night, and I was worried for everybody up there, and I was texting with some of the neighbors and making sure everybody got out, and it's just, dude.
It's a lot.
We're lucky, honestly. We're lucky in California that we don't have to deal with the hurricanes down in Miami or have to deal with tornadoes and cyclones at some of the other part of the country.
We're very blessed in this part of the country and this part of the world with the weather that we have.
Joey.
It's very lucky. And then we have droughts, obviously, which suck.
Of course, and fires, and we do have these rains, El Nino type situations. I don't know if that's exactly what's happening right now, but like, there's bigger things sometimes in life.
Absolutely.
You know, and yesterday I was really distracted. That being said, all I want to talk about today is Isaiah Stewart versus Draymond Green.
Oh, my God.
How great was that?
Draymond didn't want that.
Wanted no
he
part of
He didn't want that.
So here's my question to you.
Oh, my God.
Give me 5 athletes in sports who are the last people you want to mess with.
Ooh, that's a tease right there. That's Joe Shasky. He's going to be on with Bonta Hill next. The Morning Roast. Don't go anywhere. This was the pregame show with Joe Spadoni. Morning Roast next. 95.7 The Game.